Good morning, self-lovers. Welcome back to the Self-Love Show. I'm your co-host, Dawn Light, and my beautiful sister here, Trish Wright, is with us. Woohoo! If you're tuning in for the first time, thank you. Welcome to the show. And if you are tried and true steady viewers, thank you. We appreciate you. And just in case you don't know, we're everywhere. So just go search the Self-Love Show. We're on all the platforms. That is audio platforms as well. And we have an amazing guest today. I'm going to read her bio in a second, but she does great work and we're super excited. This is going to be a juicy topic today. And who doesn't want to marry themselves, right? It's such a sacred honor and gift. So I'm going to jump in. We have beautiful Compasha here with us, and she will be teaching all about self-love from a spiritual perspective, soul embodiment, and how to use the power of prayer, ceremony, and ritual to consciously initiate yourself into your power. She'll be sharing some of her favorite somatic tools and how to cleanse your energetic field, invoke your sovereign soul, embody your boundaries, unite with your divine power, and confidently shine exactly who you are with the unapologetic radiance. Yes. Compasha Mama, angel of radical compassion, is a bold, vivacious soul who has dedicated her life to serving the devotional love of the Divine Mother. She is a self-marriage ceremonialist, a leader of divine feminine Christ consciousness, and a masterful emotional energy healer. Her mission is to initiate brave souls into an unstoppable union with themselves so that they may fulfill their divine purpose. In the quantum spiritual empowerment of her ceremonial offerings, she weaves together several revolutionary healing modalities, including Qi-Gong, emotional freedom technique, the Emotion Code, and Theta healing. Compasha is known for creating impeccable space for the fullness of your heart's truth to be revealed. Her highly attuned empathic presence is as gentle as a feather, yet as powerful as lightning. Beautiful. Welcome, Compasha.
Thank you so much for having me here.
We're so excited. You know, it's an honor to marry oneself, and we're really excited to get into this juicy conversation about self-marriage. I'm gonna let Trish ask a question because I know she loves to do that.
Well, I'm already like cultivating it. It's like ding 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 in my brain. So there's a lot of I'll tell you where it's going. The idea of marriage holds a lot of weight in it, a lot of pressure and a lot of assumption. So I just want to like pin that to the wall of like where my brain is heading. And then there's the idea of like a lot of people might have how do you marry oneself? Like, wow, like how does that work? But also what on a peripheral scale, like there's like the ceremony, but what does that mean? What does it mean to, I'm going to speak for what I think it is like to be so committed to self and to choose that relationship as something that you want to invest your unity energy into.
Yeah.
I want to start.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, like marriage does have a lot around it, and to like reclaim the word as just union, to unite, and to, it's almost like also harnessing the energy that like people get really excited about marrying someone else, and so they do like they'll spend their whole life sometimes like fantasizing and doing all this preparation work for that special day to unite with someone else. And so in my ceremonies, I'm like, use your excitement about this idea of marriage, like, harness the energy of preparation, but internally. So you can be like, when we're in love with someone, we have all this energy, we like everything's going smoothly, and we're feeling like fantastic and the universe is on our side, we're designed to feel that way about ourselves, like to wake up and we're literally like designed to feel that way. So when we use that same excitement, that same passion that we have to marry someone else with ourselves, that brings like security that is just unmatchable.
Mhm.
We can never make a choice for someone else, right? We can only make that a choice for ourselves. That's the sovereign power of self-union. And I always, for me, I always felt frustrated when I was trying to manifest a divine partner because I was like, I knew that that it wasn't in my power to choose when or who. It was like a divine thing. And I was like, but I do have the power to choose when I choose myself. And I'm like, I'm claiming that. I'm claiming that. And I'm choosing myself every day and letting the universe align with me in that choice.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Mhm.
I love that. I'll riff a little bit. So I have married myself twice in my life, and this is before I've been married now 20 years to my divine beloved, and it's definitely soulmate partnership. And it took me having, I had to break the cycle of abuse and break the cycle of bad relationships and things that just deep disappointment and always never being met in that way. And finally, it broke me down to a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm fully choosing me. I'm choosing the love that is in my container. I'm choosing the soul that I am in this body temple, and I'm fully choosing God all in. I'm putting all my cards on the table, and I'm fully diving into the deep end of God and consciousness and love that is in my vessel. And I just said, okay, God, I surrender it all. I'm all yours. I'm here for you. I'm all in with you. And I did it I went to a Native American sweat lodge and I wore all white, and I did it. That was the first time I did it. And then I had a personal ceremony with myself the second time. And it impacted my life immensely because everything shifted from that. It was like God was like, great, I'm all in with you then.
Mhm.
If you're going to be all in with me, then I'm fully all in with you. And God's always all in with us, but it can be a misidentification we hold that God isn't for us or isn't supporting us when we haven't made that full commitment yet to self. Whatever your relationship with the divine is, I say the word God, you can say Christ, you can say divine, you can say I, all the words, right? We're all speaking about the same thing. And I just want to preface that to give space for those that whatever your belief is, I support it. Whatever your belief in a higher power is, I support it. It's about the love that is our presence. And that exponentially amplified and up leveled every part of my life and gave me way. It wasn't right away. I still had a process before my divine beloved came into my life, but it definitely opened the way for that deep communication and I actually had a path of celibacy after that really helped me untangle and like clean my temple. And I saw it as that. I made a commitment to clean my temple and treat myself as a holy union and date myself, fall in love with myself, be fully dedicated to myself as I'm my own partner. And treat myself that way, even in relationship with my divine beloved. We share in the beloved, the one, which is God consciousness, which is all of us.
Yes. Yes, I'm so glad you spoke to the temple because that's what I help people do in this self-marriage matrimony journey. And it's 9 weeks of cultivating an inner empire of self-love, a sanctuary of safety with self. And we use the elemental powers to to reclaim ourselves and to use the power of ceremony and prayer and ritual to cleanse out, cleanse ourselves with forgiveness, and to activate our own self-celebration. It's a super celebratory journey. So so many of us are focused on like how I could be doing better. And in this journey, we were just like constantly focused on what am I doing right? And what divine qualities, what attributes, what virtues am I already rocking? And praising ourselves for that. Like literally like worshiping our God-given unique soul frequency power.
Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing right? How often, I don't know about you, or, I mean, I have maybe an inkling, but I know about me. And how often do we spend time thinking about what we have done wrong? And one of the things, I've also married myself multiple times. But one of the things that I think that we are taught to do is to be self-deprecating. We're taught that there's some aspect of that's noble, or some thing that makes us like it's good for us to self-flagellate.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I think that being self-aware and looking at our own inner stuff, I do not think that being incredibly hard and abusive to ourselves is helpful at all. And one of the things that it occurred to me at some point, like, man, did I mess up so many times? I mean, like some really big, like, how could I, like, that's not the person I am. Well, obviously that is the person that I am if I had those behaviors. But it was like one of those pieces that I was like, oh my God, the identity of who I think I am and who I actually am are very different. And can I learn to accept all of it? To really see myself in the, like, to know that I am capable of the most heinous things, as well as the most angelic or whatever things, like, as Ram Dass or many other teachers, and it's not his specific saying, but it's something that comes into my head because I've listened to this meditation a lot, is Tatvamasi, and I am that too. And so one of the things that I often focused on in my marriage ceremonies was the radical acceptance of what is, or to really see myself. Like, marriage is hard. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody who's married, but there's a specific commitment to staying with, to choosing the difficulty, to working through it, to stepping up to meet all that's crunchy. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things, is like, oh, I've got to like accept that I did this thing that was so out of the thought that I could even potentially do that. Mm. Yeah, I am that too. Mm. And then one last piece that I wanted to bring up, I was scrolling through Instagram, as some people do, as some millennials do. I'm not no shame in that. And I watched this video guy that I totally adore. And one of he's like, I really want to bring this up because it's so important. And I want to say that I'm going to gender it, but it's not gendered, just because it would be true to what they were saying. Is like, one of his viewers said, men, when they date women, are thinking that they're dating from the top 10% of all men, competing with top 10% of all men for this one person's love. And he goes, but what's really real is that they're competing with the peace that person feels in solitude. And I thought it was really poignant for the show today, because it's like, when we are choosing the peace, PEACE, the peace that we feel with ourselves, with the alignment and the core values, the core movement forward, and the core love and acceptance that we offer ourselves. That's how our boundaries and our standards get raised.
Yeah.
is that when we commit to ourselves in holy matrimony or in this way of like deep loving respect, as though you were to like how you'd think that you'd commit to your partner in that reverence.
Mhm.
That was a long rant, y'all. Sorry.
I love that you're bringing it to that piece though of feeling peace with ourselves. And so many people jump from relationship to relationship and don't give themselves time to integrate, what happened in the last relationship. And for a long time I judged myself for how I had spent a lot of my life single. But I've realized as I've spiritually matured that I was in training for a lot of that, to show people, well, first of all, to understand how, like, to really feel in my body how rough it was to isolate myself and hate myself, but then to start to transmute that shame into deep compassion. And I was learning a lot about how to be with myself in a good way, and being in nature by myself actually was what helped me align with the truth that everything that's natural and organic in this world wants us to love ourselves. And so I started to get really good at being alone, at being with myself. And then I could start to, cleanse the fears of other people, the expectations of other people. And then I started to really hear the voice of and the energy of my spirit guides and my own soul as my ultimate spirit guide. And I feel like that's when my divine purpose started to come online. And I'm like, okay, because I loved myself enough, I started to, it's like some people are like, well, what's my divine purpose? And I'm like, well, if you want to know, like, start loving yourself, and it'll start, it'll start revealing itself to you as you do that deep integration work. And like you said, Trish, like having compassion and radical acceptance for your humanness is how, because it's like our humanness is our body, and our soul is trying to communicate through our body. So we gotta like love our body so we can hear our soul talk to us through our body and our heart.
That takes some solitude, that takes some listening and quietness, and takes some choosing.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about how choosing is an action?
Yeah.
And how not choosing is also an action? A little bit of that, just for a hot second, because I think that we can really get into well, first I want to start off with, like, there's more choices than your brain can conceptualize. One, that the limited capacity for your brain to create choice is based on your experiences. Go get a coach, go talk to your therapist, go get a friend who's really unbiased and who knows that you're going to let you know like where you're going and is going to like actually help you get to there rather than their own agenda. So just one, but also the actionable choice to choose one's self. What does that mean, and what doesn't it mean?
Well, a big journey of mine has been to reclaim my sovereignty, which means a lot of things, but I think the main thing it means is I have a choice to either turn towards myself with love, with compassion, with respect, or against myself with shame. Beautiful. And every single day, every single precious moment of our lives, we have that power to choose one or the other. We don't have power to control like the circumstances of our lives, but to choose to love ourselves throughout any and all circumstances is actually where our power lies. And so many of us think, oh, if I just make this outcome happen, then I'll feel safe or I'll feel loved. And it's like, that's not actually what we want. We want to know that we're going to love ourselves whether we get the thing or not. We want to know that we're going to be kind and compassionate and generous with our human experience, whether they love us or they hate us.
Earth school is not designed that way. We're not designed to be in this school and just be, like safety and security is the ego seeking that, right? And our circumstances, are always going to shift and change. Like things are always going to be out of our control, and its control is just the master addiction of the ego. And really, the truth is we are loving essence at our core of our being. We are love's essence. And so it's really about seeking and finding the barriers built against love that we are doing in our spiritual journey here in the earth school. So it's not about I don't love myself, I'm not loving enough. It's more about allowing yourself to just realize your whole being is love. And where do I hold barriers? Where do I hold barriers in my consciousness against it? And when you start looking at it through that lens of perception, things really start shifting radically for you, and the material starts to surface. And the beauty of being in a divine partnership with someone that has the same language or has the same desire is you meet each other in that place and you love each other and hold each other and remind each other it's okay to be here and it's tender. It's okay to have the emotion. It's okay to have the rage. It's okay to, you're meeting the exiled parts of self that were shamed, judged, wronged, whatever, right? From the things that occurred in our younger years, the imprints, the conditioning from our soul unit, that we chose that family before we came in, and we chose that that's going to be the perfect dynamic to imprint my soul with these lessons, and my theme of my life has to do with this. Or some people's themes have to do with radical grief, other people's themes have to do with learning on the material plane and how to do leadership. Like every person's curriculum is unique to their soul's learning for this lifetime, and we choose family units for that reason, and we choose the conditioning that's going to unfold because it's going to support us to like have that conditioning. And then it's the journey as our adult self steps forward to unravel what that is and let it go like an old coat to become fully the authentic expression of loving of self. And then you're deeply accepting and compassionate with others because you're no longer triggered by the things that used to trigger you from doing the inner work and finding those barriers built against self. And it comes forward through our relationships, through things that occur in our lives, through the challenges we meet in life. And every soul is here on earth school experiencing challenges. No one is without that learning. Every person, even if it looks like they have radically different life from us and they look like they have the perfect life, that is a false misidentification to believe in, because everyone is still learning while they're here. And that is just the way it's set up. The soul chooses it that way. The soul comes here for growth, evolution, and learning. And we take the love and the learning with us, and we keep evolving. We're infinite, intelligent beings of love consciousness, and we're here to keep expanding in that and bring that light and loving to every opportunity we hold and have.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that just flowed out. Thank you.
Yeah, I love your passion, and I agree. We're whole, we're complete upon ourselves, like unto ourselves, and it's just about remembering that, and we're like remembering we're already actually in love with ourselves, and to just be like, okay, what part in me is resisting the love that I already am, and blessing that part up, like having compassion and curiosity, and getting to know that part so that it feels safe enough to come back home.
Yum, I love this. I'm curious about, I mean, I think that we come to self matrimony or self-marriage from different places. But I am starting to hear a slight theme between just the three of us. And I'd love to hear a little bit about how you both got here. How does one commit their life to teaching people self-marriage?
Yeah. Totally. Well, because I hated myself. And you spoke to it, Dawn, just because someone looks like they have their shit together does not mean like that they do. And so I was a professional skier from 19 to 28. I was a big mountain free rider. I was competing around the world. I was on billboards, magazines. My social media was blown up. Like I had this huge image, and my mission at that time in my life was to keep prop myself up and to keep that image going. And what happened was, as I was trying to hold up that image, like perfectionism of like the hot, cool girl, the pain inside me from, childhood trauma, like sexual trauma, past life trauma, it was just that hole was getting like bigger and deeper and scarier and scarier. And eventually I just completely like collapsed into that hole. And that's when my spirit, like I had always been a spiritual person, but then I was like, okay, I need help. Like I need help. And so I started to be initiated on several different spiritual paths simultaneously. Cause I was like, I will do anything. I was at such the bottom of the barrel. I had like of my own life, I had barely survived a drug overdose. So I was like really on my hands and knees, and that vulnerability created like a willingness within me, like a courage within me that was like, I will do anything it takes to love myself, to learn how to love myself authentically. And from that massive like willingness and courage to surrender myself to the divine, to spirit, to be guided, created this like phenomenally powerful spiritual path of self-love. And as I started to unite with myself and love myself and then marry myself underneath the 2017 solar eclipse, which I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was a crazy time. Like the energetic fields, a lot of people were dying. Like it was like a really intense energetic field. And what my soul was saying is, if you can love yourself right now in this chaos, in this fear, then you're setting a foundation for yourself to like love yourself in any situation. Cause it was like, I got the guidance to marry my soul, but I was going through so much. I was just like, I was like, can I even show up for this, prayer? But I freaking did. And my life has been completely surrendered to spirit from that point on. Like, and my specific soul legacy is to radiate compassion, to be a vibration of compassion for myself, for this planet, for the universe, for all of creation. Like that's my soul key code. And that's what I'm here to do. And that clarity is like, it's so healing. It's so empowering to be like, I know what I'm here to do. And that's what I want. That's what I want for others, is to be like, no matter how crazy the world is getting, at least what you're like, you got your purpose and clarity and passion, and you're connected to that. And the more connected you are to that, the more unstoppable you become on this planet.
Beautiful. What a gift. You're such a gift. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this medicine and supporting those in this, because, in order to have like the fully expressed life, really, I believe personally that it takes full commitment to spirit. To have the life that we dream of, spirit gives us the dreams, right? And I'm not speaking of like a spirit. I'm talking about like the divine, Holy Spirit, like God consciousness. And I feel that our whole life is set up by God, and it's, we are given these specific codes to come here and express. We're given the way to speak about it, the language. We have an entelechy, which is like basically just as the acorn tree grows into a giant oak, right? And it comes as an acorn. And if you think about it, that beautiful little acorn has this full entelechy blueprint that it comes with, knowing it will grow into a beautiful full tree. It's the same for us. We have a blueprint inside of us that all we need to do is fully allow, surrender, and fully open to receive it, to lean into it. And life, it's we call this in USM, we have a specific language around it, which is the school I went to for graduate school, and it's called the soul line, leaning in fully to your soul line. And there's the difference, like there's the soul line and then there's the goal line of life. The goal line is like the white picket fence. And what your story you spoke of holding up that image, that can often be very goal line life, very goal line oriented life. And people often, you hear people's stories out there of like, I had it all. I had the job, the dream car, the dream relationship, the dream everything. And why do I feel so empty? Right? That happens for people. And that is when you're not living a fully expressed, leaning into your soul and what you're here to really learn and be and do, and fully express the authenticity of your heart and your soul. And when you start to lean into your soul line and do that work, which sometimes there's stuff in the way and you need to work on that. It's childhood trauma, it's core patterning that you're up against, it's all kinds of things, and it takes doing the inner work, taking that gentle, loving gaze inwardly around what is this material that's in the way of me being fully expressed. And that is liberation. When you start to address those core issues, foundational things that your soul stepped in with, then you become to unlock that entelechy, and it starts to open and your life starts to flourish, and it's an up leveling, and spirit starts to exponentially bless your life, and grace starts to sweep into your life in all the ways. And that's why you can see someone that's really grace filled and their path is very grace filled, and you wonder, how are you doing that? I used to think that in my younger years when I had crazy trauma and crazy dysregulated nervous system, and like, how the F am I ever going to get to here to over there? That's how I used to question it inside myself. Like, I was so didn't understand, but the more I just leaned into God and started trusting and listening and following the guidance and living my life from that place, little by little, step by step, breadcrumb by breadcrumb, choice by choice, my life kept getting better and better and better and better. And it's like an upward vortex of goodness and blessings.
Yes.
All from self-love, all from choosing love, all from being all in, no matter how hard it is. And boy, was it hard for a long period of time. And that was me working through the conditioning and the patterns and the childhood trauma and what it all meant, and putting the pieces together and unraveling it all and tilling the soil in my garden fully, like completely transforming it.
Yes.
I love what's coming up for me is this. Again, it comes back to the recommitment. Marriage isn't easy, right? Self-love takes the commitment, and it's not arrogance, right? Self-love isn't arrogance. It's not like, it's about seeing all. Like, love is about seeing it all. Yeah. All of it. All of the self-hate, all of the all the judgment, and choosing to set your standards higher for your treatment. So for me, the self-love moments is like, I'm a big lover. Like, I mean, in a lot of different ways, but I'm a really big, like, love bug. And when I show up in relationship, I show up in this big, like containered way where I love to give. And there were a lot of people in my past who just either used that big love for their benefit and their comfort, or just didn't get it at all. Like they missed the forest for the trees. They just missed it. And I would come out feeling really just completely, it was crippling self-doubt. And it occurred to me that I was just giving too much and not giving me enough. And of course our society teaches is like really teaches that love is codependent, and love has some power dynamics and abusiveness and like gender role things that I was just like, I don't know if I don't want that. And so I really had to start looking at like peeling away the layers and the lenses of my own understanding of what love meant and what relationship meant. And for me to marry myself was a raising of my standard. It's like, oh, I like, I have this thing is like, would I date myself right now? Like, would I go on a date with myself? Would I invest in my own like life? Like, am I like, if I want a relationship, am I being the person? And I was like, you know what? Actually, no. Or, oh, you know what? Actually, maybe, yeah. Or, you know what? There's some things that I could look at. And that's where I really chose to invest. I think that spending time or sharing time is an investment into myself or other people. And so I'm really, really cautious and conscious about investment. And not in like the financial, but it's an energetic, mutually beneficial or universally beneficial like investment piece. And that right there was like, oh, how do I treat myself in a way that raises my standards, that gives me clearer boundaries, that protects me? That in the marriage of or in the container of my marriage, I want to know that I've got me, that I've got another person. If I'm in a marriage with another person, like I want to know that we're protecting the container, that we're protecting each other, both our energy, our bodies, whatever it might be. That I am now, as someone who's married to self, I'm protecting my energy, my needs, my future, my commitments. Anyway, end rant. And I know that you have something that you'd like to share with all of us. So I'm going to bring you on.
I have a couple things. First of all, I just want to speak to what you said about self-love. Like, it's not an arrogant thing. It's the most humble choice, the most courageous choice to authentically, radically love yourself. So I have a couple different exercises. They're simple, they're fun, they're playful, and they're super powerful. And so the first one is just to learn how to, in any moment, I like to do it at the beginning of the day, but you can do it throughout the day if you're like, wow, I want to be in my power. I want to feel my power right now. I want to feel my sovereign soul power. So you can open your heart, open your hands, and you can command the light of your soul in. So it goes like this: by the loving power of my I am presence, I call the fullness of my soul to be with me in my body now. And then taking a deep breath in, start to float your hands to your heart, breathing in the spectacular light of your soul. And then on the exhale, grounding yourself, relaxing into your throne of sovereignty. And then it's also important to create a spiritual force field around us so that we can stay in that frequency, that vibration of self-love. So I like to rub my hands together, creating some life force chi. And then I say, and I invite you to follow along with me. I now invoke the invincible source light within me. to radiate out in all directions simultaneously. And then you can lift your arms up and create, like, shoot that light out in all directions with your hands, and create that force field around you. You can dip down, rise up, and do it diagonally. And then you can just feel that radiating, piercing white light radiating out in all directions. And another thing you can do to cleanse your auric field, to cleanse your energy field, this is, there's two different ways to do this. One is a little bit more of like a specific prayer, and so I'll show it to you now. It goes, by the loving power of my I am presence, I now command all energies, influences, frequencies, and vibrations that are not in total and full alignment with my highest and best good, and in service to my sovereign empowerment, to return to the infinite light and unconditional love of Source now. And then the simple version of that is saying sovereignty now and commanding that into your cellular structure. And the movement that goes with that is you cut towards with your hands, cut towards, and then cut out. So it goes cut, clear, and then bring your fists to your hips, claim, and then throw your hands up, command. So it goes cut, clear, claim, command. And you would say sovereignty now. So let's do it together. Sovereignty now. Sovereignty now. So another thing that happens when we start unapologetically radiating our soul light is that it triggers people. It makes people feel uncomfortable. It can make people feel insecure. It can make people feel jealous. It can make people project all over us, all these different things. And we'll never have any control of how people feel about us, even though we like to think we do sometimes. But we do have the power to choose to not take on other people's projections. And it takes a lot of self-love in order to not take on the projections of others. So I like to do embodied boundaries to help get into the like physical position to support asserting these types of boundaries. So placing your left hand on your heart, and then bringing your right hand up and out in front of you. And you can say, tuning into to your hand on your heart, you can say, I love myself. I love myself. So you're resourcing your own heart. You're honoring your own heart and your heart's truth. And then the hand that's facing out is actually an extension of your heart, and it's sending love to the other person. And so you could energetically say, and I love you too. Like, just because we're having a boundary with someone does not mean that we don't love them. We're sending love to them. So I love myself and I love you. And then practicing empowering that word no. So we're not necessarily saying no to the person and who they are as a person. We're not rejecting the person. We're saying no to the behavior that they're projecting on towards us, right? So I love myself and I love you and no. So let's say it together. So really just giving yourself the opportunity to speak the words, I love myself and I love you and no. No. And just giving yourself an opportunity to speak the word no. That very small, extremely powerful word no. And so when we're saying no to something or someone else, we're saying yes to ourselves. And another simple way to do this is to bow. So if someone's projecting onto you, you can say, like, thank you, because they're actually, when someone's projecting on you, they're giving you information, and you can genuinely be like, thank you for that information, for showing me where you're at. So thank you. And then bringing your hand out, no thank you to the behavior. And then you can wiggle your finger, like that kind of wiggle, and be like, not mine. So this energy you're sending towards me, it's not mine. And then you can offer like them a blessing. I love you. So thank you, no thank you, not mine, I love you. So you're blessing the person and saying no at the same time. It is the most graceful way. And it's not that you're saying this to someone's face. It's just like, if you're knowing, you can energetically do this in your room and just imagine the person in front of you to help you, disentangle, unweave yourself from a codependent dynamic with them. So self-love can, like the spiritual path of self-love can feel kind of serious sometimes. And so I love to bring in some like sassiness into it sometimes. So if you would love to repeat after me, this one goes like this. Ooh, oh my God, I'm amazing. Ooh, oh my God, I amaze me. Let's do it again. Ooh, oh my God, I'm amazing. Ooh, oh my God, I amaze me. And then if you're doing this in a group, you can like offer the same, the greatest gift you can give someone, first of all, is to love yourself. And then the second greatest gift you can give them is to help them love themselves. So, ooh, oh my God, we're amazing, right? Claiming that we're amazing creatures of creation. Ooh, oh my God, you amaze me. So put that in your back pocket as a tool to pull out if you're getting a little too serious or forgetting to laugh and enjoy the journey of self-love. It's definitely meant to be enjoyed as well. Oof, what else? I got so much that I want to share. Okay, so this one, once you start to build a relationship with your soul and your soul really starts to trust you, it's gonna, your soul's gonna start giving you like instructions, guidance that might feel intimidating. And so we want to let our soul know, like if we're all in, to use our body to let our soul know we are all in. So to take your left hand, you place it to your forehead and then your heart, and then you bring it out into like your palm into an upward position. So it goes, I am listening. And then with the other hand, I am willing. And then both hands together, I am, and then open it up, yours. I am listening. I am willing. I am yours. I am yours. I am listening. I am willing. I am yours. I am yours. So letting your spirit know, like, I surrender to you. And then you can align your will to divine will. I am yours. I am yours. Aligning my will to divine will. I am yours. I am yours. So just like Dawn was talking about the difference between a soul line and a goal line, it's like we all know what it's like to have free will and think that we know what's best for us. But when we start to spiritually mature, we realize that spirit, God, source, creator, has a way bigger, more miraculous, more beautiful plan for our lives than we could possibly imagine. And so by doing this prayer of aligning our free will to divine will, we make it a lot easier on ourselves by being like, and it's just such a humble choice to be like, you know what? I thought I knew what was best for me, but maybe the one who created me actually has a lot in store for me, like a lot. And so I am listening to that guidance. I am willing to act upon it. I am yours. I surrender to you. What else? So I love to bring the somatic self-love into the practice, like really using the body and tapping on, emotional freedom technique, tapping on the meridian points while doing your self-loving affirmations, while honoring and acknowledging the parts in you that are resistant to this type of powerful, soul-surrendered self-love is so effective. And so I like to do I like to tap in front of the mirror and to find radical acceptance and compassion for whatever arises while I'm connecting with myself in the mirror and offering myself love and forgiveness. So forgiveness is essential. Self-forgiveness is absolutely essential for a successful human journey, because we were, designed to like grow and learn by not doing it perfectly, but by being courageously willing to be messy in our healing process. And so if we aren't forgiving ourselves, we can get really stuck on the self-love journey. So the most simple way to support you in remembering to forgive yourself, and just a simple tool while tapping on your heart, and it can be very powerful to use water in this ritual, where you have a vessel of water in front of you, and you can scan yourself and be like, where am I resisting love? That the love that I already am. Where am I resisting this unconditional love? And you can attune to those places. And forgive yourself for one of my favorite things to forgive myself for is forgetting who I truly am. I forgive myself for completely forgetting how divine, how powerful, how sovereign I am. I forgive myself. And then genuinely and gently saying to yourself with passion, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. Set yourself free. I forgive myself. And taking a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. By the power of my own forgiveness, I set myself free.
Okay. What I really love about your tools is that they're embodied, they're mantra based, and they're easy for the brain. But I mean, of course, I'm feeling sassy. I warned all of you all. Well, I warned them before. Sassy. And I was like, ooh, oh yeah, and I really got that one. And it occurred to me as I was doing it, and I was like, oh my God, these are the sounds of the chakras. You're brilliant. I love you. I got you. So good. Oh, more of Compasha Mama. I have put her links in the bio. Oh, sorry, I don't know what your pronouns are. I put Compasha's information in the chat, and you can click and follow her. Them on it. what are your
She and her. Yeah.
Follow her on Instagram and Facebook. Click on, really, like, go follow her on Instagram. It is great videos,
Yes.
very sweet connection pieces. It's juicy.
Thank you for your passion and your devotion to self-love. It's so good. So good. We celebrate you. We lift
Yay.
you
Thank you
up
so
in
much.
the world. Thank you. Like, oh, so good. I appreciate it. Resonates. Feels so loving. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're so welcome. And thank you to both of you. I am so happy to get to know both of you better. And I just, that prayer that you spoke on leading into this chat was so powerful. And I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. So thank you, both of you, for your devotion, your service, your leadership of self-love.
Thank you. Yeah, we love the show, and we love having you as a guest on the show. It's been juicy. This is a good one. I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna share what the reference was before every show. See, nobody ever gets to see that piece, but before every show, Dawn leads all of us through a centering prayer, an invocation, you could say, of really like aligning all the guests into alignment and integrity. And it's always different, and it's always heart-centered, and it just brings us to presence and weaves our message together. Like it's just this place where we get to and it's so good. It's so good.
It's the way to do it, is to pray before everything. Align ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Those that pray together stay together. It's so true.
So tell us a little bit more about what your work looks like, either privately or classes or things like that.
Yeah, well, I'll share more about the self-marriage matrimony. You can either go on a group journey with a group of people, which can be really fun to be celebrating each other in those courageous, what I call radical self-love reclamation rituals, and doing those together and then having the ceremony together. I facilitate the final marriage total soul union ceremony at the river in Nevada City, California, the Uba River. And it's just so glorious. And then you can also go on a one-on-one journey with me. And the most beautiful thing about it is you're creating a relationship with your soul. So your soul will start to give you specific guidance on how to make that day so special, so powerful for you. So every soul will have unique guidance on that, on what to wear and what to put on your altar, and whether you want to speak vows. So there's this gorgeous altar that I create with a mirror, and some people put the picture of their inner child on the altar, and a lot of people will baptize themselves in the river after. And I have tears streaming down my face every single time. Like, it's my favorite thing to see someone courageously walk up to that altar and be like, I choose you, and to say all the things that they were waiting for other people or their parents or whatever to say to them. They give that to themselves. It's so beautiful.
I freaking love that. Oh, thank you so much for being here today. What a sweet, fun, deep, and rideable topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dawn, would you like to share anything?
Well, thank you for the invitation to do so. If you are a beautiful, beautiful woman out there in the world seeking greater expansion with trust, if you've been in a long-standing relationship or been in any type of relationship pattern where you felt trust issues arose, and this is your curriculum around, greater expansion into trust of self, trust of God within, then, I really want to invite you into this group. It's free. There's a lot of great content in there, great group of women. And it can be a place where you can be celebrated for your growth and your ability to lay down the patterns that have been in the way to greatest self-trust, because trust is the root and the foundation of our life. And if we embody and live from that place, then our life springs forward into great joy and abundance and all the things we're asking for, but it starts with self-trust. So just inviting you into that conversation. If you're interested, please join us. The link is in the chat. And yeah, love celebrating you, love lifting you up, love supporting you, love praying with you, love coaching if you're interested. Lots of good opportunities coming soon in the near future. I'll also launch Unleash Your Sovereign Queen again. Eventually, I'm working my way towards there. Got a lot going on the back end. So
You've got a lot in your life right now.
I've got my plate is super full. It's true.
Awesome. Well, I do want to, gosh, I don't even know if you know that I'm teaching this class, but I have decided that I want to teach more about how sacred sexuality or conscious sexuality and BDSM really weaves together. And I'm teaching a mistress class because I don't use the other word, anymore. And I'm teaching with Ashley and Cantata on Tuesday afternoon in the evening. So I'm going to put the link in. It's called Conscious Kink Mistress Class with Trish Wright and Ashley and Cantata. So join us if you're interested in kink and how to really bring presence and awareness in. And I have a very specific kind of style of BDSM that I participate in that's stepping out of the, we'll call it systems of oppression or the patriarchal white supremacy dominance container, and really coming into showing up in one's true authentic dominance without abuse. So if that's all interesting to you, click that link there and join in on the conversation. It's going to be fun. It's one of the things that wait for it, because I'm teaching it all over in a bunch of different festivals this summer. So I got you. And I want to give a big shout out to, again, Scott Thomas, Love Coach Academy, and Global Peace Tribe for really holding the container here, and Sign Network for sharing us out on over 90 pages today. Thank you so much for your love and attention and time. And last but certainly not least, Roy, Russell, and Marvin for really holding the space and making all of this possible here on the Self-Love Show, for creating the graphics and making the canvas and the StreamYard and and now everyone gets their links and all of the things, like for communicating with Compasha. Like, thank you so much. And I know that you're listening. So for everyone else, thank you for showing up for yourself right now, for your self-matrimony, for your self-marriage, and choosing self-love today.
And may your holy union with God be so filled with devotion, and may it spring forward just a new wellspring of just blossoming of just true, deep-hearted, rich, unconditional love in your life. And may you flourish, may you deepen and strengthen your commitment to self in every way, and may your love just flourish in life, and know yourself as loving essence. Yeah.
Thank you so much, you too. And
thank you. Great show today. Thank you.
Same time, same place. We'll be right here next week.